everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathy, and today I have a really fun project for us to work on together. I will be showing you how you can make a cool macrame hanging planter slash shelf, and we're going to use driftwood. So I got my driftwood online since I live in the Midwest and I don't have it easily accessible to me, obviously. But I found a cool Etsy shop online, Driftwood Dan, and he has these really cool flat pieces of driftwood that actually have a drilled out hole for your little planters to sit right into. So he provides these terracotta pots. They're about 3 inches and they sit right in, and it's really, really cute. Obviously these don't have holes in the pot, so I don't know, you have to like spray your plants, I guess, instead of normally pouring water, but they're so small you wouldn't want to do that anyway. But yeah, and he also provides the little hangers, so we can make actually a hanging shelf. And I am super stoked about this because I think it's really cute. Driftwood is beautiful, and I've never actually seen a little shelf like this with the drilled out hole, so I think it's super unique and cool, and I'm excited to make something with you guys. But yeah, so I'll link his shop down below if you want to get yourself some driftwood. And yeah, so other than driftwood for this project, I'm going to be using some rope, obviously. And I have 4mm 3-ply twisted cotton rope. That was a mouthful. So I'll also link this down below. It's pretty big jumbo size. We're not going to need this much rope, but it's nice to have. And I believe I want to use a second color just for a fun pop. Of course, that's completely optional, but I do have this yellow rope, which is in the same size and out of the same material, so I think it will go really good, and I think it will look great with the driftwood. And I guess let's just jump right into it and make ourselves a cool driftwood plant hanger. I'm going to start by folding 6 of my ropes right in half and attaching them to my driftwood with a lark's head knot. So I'm just going to take that, send it over the driftwood, and then pull the 2 strings through the loop. And then I just pull that tight. So I should have 6 ropes attached in the middle of my driftwood. Now we are going to make a upside down triangle with berry knots. So we're going to start with a row of 3 berry knots, then 2 berry knots, and then 1 berry knot. To make a berry knot, we're going to make 3 square knots in a row. So I'm going to take my first 4 ropes, take the one on the far right, cross it over the 2 in the middle to form this loop. Then the rope on the left goes over, behind the 2 in the middle, and through that loop. And I'm going to pull this tight. And I'm going to want to leave a little bit of a gap up top for when I finish my berry knot. Then to finish my square knot, I take that left side to cross over the 2 in the middle. My other string then goes over, behind the 2, and through the loop, and I pull that tight. And now I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. Once I have all 3 of my square knots, I'm going to send the 2 strings that are in the middle up through the little gap up top. Once they're through, I'm just going to give it a little tug to curl the berry knot up to form a round shape. And then I'm going to secure this with a square knot, just as before. Now I'm going to repeat this step 2 more times. Now I repeat my berry knot with the last 4 ropes. Next, I'm going to make 2 berry knots on the next row, right between these berry knots and these berry knots. To do this, I will grab the 2 on the right side from this berry knot and the 2 on the left side from this berry knot, and I'll repeat the same step as before. Now we'll make another berry knot just like that one, only right here. Now I will make 1 more berry knot, this time right between our last 2. And this is what our little upside down triangle should look like. Now I'm going to go ahead and unravel my loose strings here so that I can have a nice, fun, wavy texture. Again, this is optional. If you are using single-stranded rope instead of the 3-ply that I'm using, you could brush it out to have that nice smooth fringe. So really you can play around and do the texture you prefer. You could also just leave it as is. We're going to attach 2 more ropes to our driftwood with a lark's head knot, and this time we're going to make this centerpiece a little shorter than the rest because we're going to just do square knots in a row. So they don't have to be even. Do the one that's going to hang in the middle, just slightly shorter, as we're not going to lose any length from that piece. When my short piece hangs down, it's about 15 inches long. So that should be plenty of rope. Again, attach your other rope in the same manner. Again, making sure that center rope is just a little shorter. I want it to be about even with the rope we just attached previously. So the two center ropes are the same size, and our two outer ropes are. And now we're just going to make a chain of square knots, but our square knots are gonna have little loops. Let me show you how to do that. So we'll start by making a normal square knot right up top. And now when we make our second square knot, we're gonna leave a little gap between them, about a finger's width. So about a finger's width. Then when I have that square knot finished, I'm just going to slide it up so that we have a cute little loop on both sides. And then we're just going to repeat this process. Okay, once you have 11 square knots completed, we're gonna go and we're going to repeat the same process but on this side. So go ahead and attach two more ropes to the same length, remembering to keep those two center strings about 15 inches long, so that's shorter than the other two. And just repeat your square knots with loops in the same way we just did. Once I have all 11 square knots with loops done on both sides, it's time to connect these two sides with another square knot. And we're going to just take them and take the four outer ropes here and make a square knot to connect them. I just realized I got a weird loop right here that's a lot bigger than all the others, so I'm just gonna go back and fix that real fast and then reattach the same way I just did. And this is what it should look like so far. And now I'm just gonna go back and unravel these new ropes that are hanging down so that it can match the same texture. And again, you can play around with the textures, do however you choose. There are no rules when it comes to macrame. Well, there are some, but you know what I mean. Now it's time to add in our fun pop of color. I'm using yellow, and of course you can use any color you want, and if you don't even want to use a different color, you can go ahead and use your favorite neutral. And what we're gonna do is take these small pieces and attach them to our outer loops using a lark's head knot. So I'm just gonna fold them in half and send it through my loop and tie it on with a lark's head knot. And that's all there is to it. And I'm just gonna repeat that on both sides. once you get them all on your one side, that's what it should look like. And I'm gonna go and unravel all of my ropes again just to get that nice textured look. And here it is with it all unraveled. And so now we're just gonna repeat this exact same step just on this side. And there we go, guys. This is what it looks like all complete with our added fringe and with the pop of color. I think it is super, super pretty and cute. I love it. I think it will look just as good if you use all of one color. So just do whatever you guys want. Okay, so now it is time to work on connecting our shelf to this piece, and I went ahead and worked on the one side just so I could kind of figure out what I wanted to do. So we're gonna attach 2 more ropes with a lark's head knot, and then let me show you what knot we're gonna use after that. Once your ropes are attached to your driftwood, we're going to start tying alternating half hitch knots. So I'm just going to do groups of 2. I'm going to start on the right side, take it over, around, and through the loop. And then I just pull it up top. And then I alternate to my next side, so I take the left, go over, around, and through the loop. You can always change this knot up too if you would like to use something else. So you could just do square knots, you could do a spiral knot, you could do some kind of braided pattern, really whatever you like. I really liked the way this was looking, so this is what I am using. Once you have about 13 of these knots tied, or however many you need to make it even, you might have tied one side a little tighter than the other, it's okay, just try to make them as even as possible. We're going to split these back into sections of 2 and then continue the same knot. So I'm just going to take the 2 here, take the side on the right over, around, and through. Take the left side now and go over, around, and through. And I'm just going to keep repeating this until I have a long length. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not positive yet if it's going to be the exact same length as this, because my piece of driftwood is narrower on one side than the other, so I might not need as many knots. So I'm gonna figure that out with you guys. But yeah, if you guys are using driftwood too, your driftwood's probably not gonna be the exact same size and shape as mine, because you know, driftwood is one of a kind, so we're just gonna have to play around to see what works. But you can use the same knot and method I'm using. It shouldn't affect that, just you might have to make yours either shorter or longer depending on the size and shape of your driftwood. So hopefully that makes sense, but otherwise let's just continue our knots. Okay, now that I have a good length, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on my next bundle. So I'm just gonna take this and drape it over my driftwood to get it out of my way so I can go ahead and continue the same process on these other two ropes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just test out to see about my driftwood fitting in the spot before I make any more knots. I think I'm going to need it to be the same length as the left side if I want it to lay straight. I wasn't exactly sure about that, but I think that's what's gonna work best. So I'm just gonna go through and count my one side and match it, and of course I'll tell you guys how many exact knots I used in a little text bubble, so don't worry about that. Alright, so now that I have both sides complete, I'm just going to attach them together again. So I'm going to take one rope from each side as the bundle of two, and then I'm just going to cross the right side over and wrap it around. Pull that tight. Then I'm going to take the other side to wrap around and pull tight. And this acts as my knot. And so now I have both loops finished, and it's time to see if my driftwood fits. So fingers crossed. It fits. I think it looks really cute. It's pretty level when I'm just eyeing it. And yeah, I mean, I can spread these out a little bit too if I need to have it not in front of the planter. It's pretty close to the edge there, so it makes me a little nervous. So one way you could give it more security is, of course, to just hot glue that down so there's no chance of it coming loose. You could also secure it more by tying your ropes here under. I think that would give it a little more security. I personally like how it looks right now, so I'm not gonna mess with that. I might choose to hot glue it at some point, but I don't know. I'm not sure it needs it. I trust the knots. So my last step is, first of all, I'm going to take these pretty yellow fringe and I'm just going to fluff it in front. So it does hide the knot, but you know, I like the yellow fringe more than the knot there. So that's what it will look like. And I got all the fringe. I just realized I totally had that all out of frame. But yeah, that's what I just did. I just took that fringe and I pulled it in front of the knot so that it's visible. And my last step then, of course, is to just trim my ends to however long I want them to be, because I have two sets here. Again, I'm out of frame. I have two sets here, so I can either match it with the fringe back here, which I need to even out a little bit, or I can let them hang longer. So I haven't decided which I'll prefer. I am going to unravel to give them the wavy texture. So once I unravel and see what that looks like, I'll show you the final result where you'll get to see what I chose. But let me show you all together what it looks like right now. How adorable is that? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I really like it. I need to get a little plant before I do the final reveal with it all cleaned up and perfect as it can be, of course. But yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed making this, guys, so I hope you decide to do this as well. It's really fun, especially with using the driftwood. I love driftwood. It's so beautiful. Okay, let me give you the final results, guys.